No one is coming to save you. Wake up. Read that again slowly, because most people never let that sentence land. They hear it and their mind flinches away from it, back into comfort, back into waiting. But you are not going to flinch. You are going to sit in this truth until it changes you. No one is coming. Not your family, not your friends, not a stranger, not fate, not luck, not some future version of the economy, not some perfect morning where everything suddenly aligns. No one is coming to save you. And once you understand that, once it actually sinks into your bones, you will realize this is not the worst news you have ever heard. It is the best news you have ever heard, because it means the rescue was never outside of you. It means the power was never in someone else's hands. It means this entire time you were the one you were waiting for. Think about how many years people spend waiting. Waiting for someone to notice their effort, waiting for the right connections, waiting for the right moment, waiting for permission, waiting for confidence to arrive before they take the first step. And while they wait, the clock does not wait with them. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. And one morning they wake up and realize the life they were waiting to start has quietly become the life they are still stuck in. Not because they were unlucky, not because the world was against them, but because they kept looking outward for a rescue that was never going to arrive. Nobody was coming. Nobody was ever coming. Here is the hard truth, and you need to hear it plainly. No one is coming to fix your finances for you. No one is coming to build your discipline for you. No one is coming to heal what happened to you and hand you back a whole person. No one is coming to make the calls you are afraid to make, or have the conversations you are avoiding, or walk into the room you keep telling yourself you are not ready for. That responsibility, all of it, belongs to you. It was always going to belong to you. You can spend the rest of your life negotiating with that fact, or you can accept it today and finally get free. Because this is where freedom actually begins, not in comfort, not in rescue. Freedom begins in ownership. The moment you stop looking outside yourself for someone to save you, you take back the one thing that was always yours to control, which is your response. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control who believes in you. You cannot control the family you were born into, or the mistakes that were made before you were old enough to understand them. But you can control what you do next, and what you do next is the only thing that has ever mattered. Now understand something important, because this is not a message about isolation. This is not a message that says never ask for help, never accept support, never let anyone stand beside you. You may find mentors along the way. You may find people who believe in you before you believe in yourself. You may find doors that open because someone else held them open. None of that is wasted. None of that is weakness. But even with every mentor, every friend, every open door, the walking still has to be done by you. Nobody can build your discipline while you sleep. Nobody can carry your effort while you scroll. Nobody can want your future for you more than you want it for yourself. You are the one who has to want it. You are the one who has to move. So ask yourself honestly right now, no excuses, no performance for anyone watching. Who have you been waiting for? Be specific. Are you waiting for your parents to finally understand you? Are you waiting for a partner to complete you before you feel whole? Are you waiting for a boss to recognize your worth before you believe in it yourself? Are you waiting for the fear to disappear before you finally start? If you are honest with yourself, you will see it. You have been standing at the edge of your own life, waiting for someone to give you a push you were fully capable of giving yourself. Nobody is coming to give you that push. You have to become the one who pushes. Let that sink in. You cannot hire someone to do your healing for you. You cannot hire someone to build your character for you. You cannot outsource the discipline it takes to wake up early when your body is begging you to stay in bed. These things cannot be transferred. They cannot be bought. They cannot be borrowed from someone stronger than you. They have to be built, brick by brick, inside of you, by you. And that is exactly why the people who finally accept this truth become unstoppable. Because once you stop looking for a rescue, you stop wasting energy on hope that depends on someone else, and you start pouring all of that energy into the one person who is always in control, yourself. Think about how much time gets lost waiting for validation, waiting for someone to say you are good enough before you allow yourself to believe it, waiting for applause before you allow yourself to feel proud, waiting for permission before you allow yourself to try. That is a dangerous way to live, because it means your entire life is on hold until someone else decides to hand you a key that was in your pocket the whole time. Stop waiting for the applause. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to save you from a life only you can rebuild. Now let's talk about excuses, because excuses are the quiet killers of potential. Excuses do not destroy your life in one dramatic moment. They destroy it slowly, one small surrender at a time. I was too tired today. I will start next Monday. It is not the right time yet. I am waiting for things to calm down first. Each excuse sounds reasonable in the moment. Each one feels harmless. But repeat those sentences enough times and they stop being excuses. They become your identity. And once excuses become your identity, you stop noticing them at all, because they no longer feel like lies you are telling yourself. They feel like facts about who you are. Here is the truth about complaining too, because complaining feels like release, but it is actually surrender. Every time you complain instead of act, you are quietly saying, "This is happening to me," instead of saying, "I am going to do something about this." That shift in language is everything. You cannot control everything that happens to you. You cannot control the diagnosis, the layoff, the betrayal, the delay, but you can always control what you do the next morning. That is not a small thing. That is the only thing. No one is coming to rescue you from your own habits. Think about that carefully. The habit of checking your phone the second you feel bored. The habit of saying tomorrow when you mean never. The habit of numbing difficult emotions instead of facing them. No one can walk into your life and delete those habits for you. A therapist can guide you. A coach can support you. A friend can encourage you. But the actual moment where you choose differently, the moment where you put the phone down, where you say the hard truth instead of the easy lie, where you get up instead of staying down, that moment belongs to you and only you, every single time. Consider the metaphor of the seed for a moment, because it explains why so many people give up right before their breakthrough. When you plant a seed, nothing visible happens for a long time. No movement above the ground, no obvious sign of life, just soil, silence, and stillness. But underneath that silence, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming, strength is developing. A foundation is being built that will eventually be strong enough to hold up an entire tree. If someone dug up that seed every few days to check on its progress, it would never grow. It needs the dark, quiet, unseen time to become what it is capable of becoming. Your life works exactly the same way. The season where nobody is clapping for you, where nobody understands what you're building, where your effort feels invisible, that is not a punishment. That is preparation. That is the root system forming beneath the surface of your life so that when it finally breaks through, it has the strength to stand. But you have to survive the underground season without quitting. Most people quit in the dark, right before the light. Don't be most people. No one is coming to save you from that lonely season, and honestly, that is exactly what makes it valuable. When nobody is watching, you learn who you actually are without an audience. When nobody is praising your effort, you learn to keep going because you believe in the outcome, not because you need applause to fuel you. When nobody is helping, you learn independence, and independence is one of the most powerful forms of freedom a human being can have. It means your peace no longer depends on someone else showing up. It means your progress no longer depends on someone else's permission. It means your future no longer depends on someone else's rescue. Now let's talk about the mirror, because eventually every person has to stand in front of one and tell themselves the truth. Stop looking around the room for the hero. Stop scanning the crowd for someone who is going to walk over and fix everything for you. The hero you have been waiting for is not going to walk through that door. The hero you have been waiting for is already standing in front of the mirror every single morning, and most people don't even recognize them because they've spent so long looking outward that they forgot to look inward. That reflection is not weak. That reflection is not broken beyond repair. That reflection is fully capable of rebuilding everything that has fallen apart. It has just been waiting for you to stop outsourcing your rescue and finally claim it. Wake up. That is the real message underneath all of this. Wake up from the belief that someone else's timing controls your life. Wake up from the fantasy that comfort will eventually turn into change on its own. Wake up from the idea that you need to feel ready before you begin, because readiness is a feeling that shows up after you start, not before. Wake up from the illusion that time is unlimited, that there will always be another year to finally begin. Another version of you in the future who will magically have more discipline than the version standing here right now. That future version does not exist unless you build them today, with the actions you take in this very moment. Ask yourself, what would your life look like in 1 year if you stopped waiting today? Not next month, not after the holidays. Not once things settle down, because things rarely settle down on their own. They settle down because you decide to take control of them. What would change if, starting today, you treated your life like something only you were responsible for? Your health, your finances, your relationships, your mindset, your discipline. What would happen if you stopped waiting for someone to fix what only you can fix? Understand this deeply. Discipline is not a punishment. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you say you want to be. And that bridge has to be crossed every single day, not once, not when you feel inspired, but daily, repeatedly, even on the days when motivation disappears completely. Motivation is unreliable. It shows up when it wants to and disappears the moment life gets difficult. Discipline does not care how you feel. Discipline shows up anyway. And it is discipline, not motivation, that eventually builds a person who cannot be stopped. Think about the version of you that exists on the other side of consistency. A version that does not hesitate before doing the hard thing. A version that does not need someone else's approval before making a decision. A version that has already made peace with discomfort because discomfort has become the price of growth, not the enemy of it. That version of you is not a fantasy. That version is built one decision at a time. Starting with the decision you make the moment you finish hearing these words. No one is coming to hand you that version of yourself either. You have to build them through repetition, through the small disciplines nobody sees, through waking up on the mornings your body wants to stay in bed, through choosing the difficult conversation over the comfortable silence, through showing up on the days when showing up feels pointless, because it is exactly on those invisible days that the strongest people are quietly built. The people who eventually become unstoppable did not get there through one dramatic moment. They got there through thousands of small moments where nobody was watching, and they chose to do the work anyway. Let's be honest about something else too. Sometimes the reason people wait for rescue is not laziness. Sometimes it is fear disguised as patience. It is easier to say I am waiting for the right time than to admit I am afraid to fail. It is easier to say I am waiting for more resources than to admit I am afraid of what happens if I try my best and it still isn't enough. But here is the truth you need to hear. Waiting does not protect you from failure. It only delays the moment you finally have to face yourself. And the longer you delay it, the heavier that moment becomes, because the gap between who you are and who you are capable of becoming keeps growing every single day you choose comfort over courage. So stop waiting for fear to disappear before you act. Fear does not disappear before courage. Fear disappears because of courage. You do not need to feel brave to start. You only need to start. And the bravery arrives somewhere in the middle of the action, not before it. Every person who has ever built something meaningful out of nothing had to move while still afraid. They did not wait for certainty. They did not wait for someone to guarantee the outcome. They simply decided that not moving was more dangerous than moving imperfectly. That decision is available to you too, right now, in this exact moment. No one is coming to save you from your own comfort zone. That door only opens from the inside, and you are the only one holding the key. You can stay in that room for another year, another 5 years, another decade, telling yourself the same story about why now is not the right time. Or you can open the door today, walk out into the uncertainty, and start building a life that actually matches the potential you know is sitting inside of you. The potential you have been protecting instead of using. Understand this. Your life does not improve by chance. It improves by change, and change requires honesty. Honesty about the habits that are keeping you stuck. Honesty about the excuses you have been recycling for years. Honesty about the people or circumstances you have been blaming instead of taking responsibility. This is not about shame. This is about clarity, because you cannot fix what you refuse to name. The moment you stop pretending and start naming the truth of your situation, you gain power over it. That is not weakness. That is the beginning of real strength. Now think about what happens the day you finally accept full responsibility for your life. Something shifts. The confusion starts to clear. The blame starts to fade. The waiting stops making sense because you realize you were never actually powerless. You were just outsourcing your power to circumstances, to other people, to timing, to luck. And the day you take that power back is the day everything begins to change. Not because your circumstances suddenly improved, but because you stopped waiting for them to improve before you started moving. This is what it means to wake up. It does not mean everything becomes easy. It does not mean the fear disappears completely or the doubts stop showing up. It means you stop letting fear and doubt make the decisions for you. It means you finally understand that comfort was never going to build the life you want, that waiting was never going to build the life you want, that hoping someone would notice you and save you was never going to build the life you want. Only action builds that life. Only responsibility builds that life. Only you can build that life. So here is what you do starting today. You stop waiting for permission and you give it to yourself. You stop waiting for the perfect plan and you start with the next right step, even if it is small, even if it is imperfect, even if nobody claps for it. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself, because self-belief that depends on outside approval is not real belief at all. It is borrowed confidence that can be taken away the moment someone else changes their mind about you. Build a belief in yourself that does not need anyone else's permission to exist. You stop making your healing, your growth, your success dependent on someone else showing up the way you needed them to. Maybe they never will. Maybe the apology you have been waiting for will never come. Maybe the recognition you deserve will never be handed to you by the people who should have given it. That is painful to accept, but here is the freedom hidden inside that pain. Once you stop waiting for it, you take your life back from people who were never going to give it to you anyway. You stop being a passenger in your own story, waiting for someone else to take the wheel, and you finally sit in the driver's seat where you belonged the entire time. No one is coming, and once that truth stops feeling like a loss and starts feeling like liberation, you will move differently through the world. You will stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what am I going to do about it? You will stop measuring your worth by who shows up for you and start measuring it by who you choose to become regardless of who shows up. You will stop treating discipline like punishment and start treating it like the one tool that has never failed anyone who used it consistently. Picture the life on the other side of this decision. A version of your future where you look back and realize the turning point was not a lucky break, was not a rescue, was not someone finally noticing you. The turning point was the day you stopped waiting and started building. The day you looked in the mirror and stopped searching the room behind you for a hero, because you finally recognized the one standing right in front of you. That is the day everything changes. Not because the world changed, because you did. You will face difficult seasons on this path. Seasons where the effort feels invisible. Seasons where nobody understands what you are building or why you are working so hard for something they cannot see yet. In those seasons, remember the seed beneath the soil. Remember that growth you cannot see is still growth. Remember that silence does not mean stillness. It often means preparation. Stay in the dark long enough to build real roots, because the trees that grow fast with shallow roots are the first ones to fall when the storm comes. But the ones that spent years building strength underground are the ones still standing long after everyone else gave up. No one is coming to make this journey easier for you, and honestly, you would not want them to, because the difficulty is what builds the strength you are going to need to hold on to everything you are about to create. Do not wish for an easier life. Wish for the strength to build a powerful one, because the moment you develop that strength, difficulty stops being your enemy and starts being your trainer, shaping you into someone capable of handling far more than the person who started this journey ever could have imagined. So take a breath and let this settle. No one is coming. Not today, not tomorrow, not after you've suffered long enough to deserve it. No one is coming to fix what only you can fix. No one is coming to build the discipline that only you can build. No one is coming to walk through the fear that only you can walk through. And that is not a tragedy. That is the most empowering truth you will ever accept, because it means your future was never in anyone else's hands. It means every excuse you have been using has an expiration date, and that date is today. It means the rescue you have been waiting for your entire life was never going to arrive from the outside, because it was already living inside of you the whole time, waiting for you to finally stop looking away from it. Wake up. Stop waiting. Stop hoping someone else will carry what was always meant to be carried by you. Look in the mirror one more time, and this time actually see the person looking back at you. See their potential instead of their excuses. See their strength instead of their fear. See the person who has been fully capable of saving themselves this entire time, because no one is coming. And that means it is finally time for you to stand up, take full responsibility, and become the person who saves your own life. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more rescue fantasies. Just you, your discipline, and the life you are finally ready to build. Wake up.